Welcome back, everybody, to a live episode of the DCL Duo podcast. We've been on hiatus now for 2 weeks, but we are back, and boy, do we have a doozy. I think over the weekend, Sam and I were like, what are we going to talk about on this show? And Disney delivered this afternoon.
Disney
late
took
this
care of it for
afternoon.
you.
Oh,
They did.
yeah.
They did.
Not
And we got to
just this,
start.
not just this afternoon, but like even a couple of days ago, and then today it was like, oh my God, now it's even more that we have to talk about. So yeah, this was I was unsure if we were going to be able to fill a show.
Wait, hold on. And we lost our live guest last minute, but Disney delivered again with Chris.
Yes.
So one of our favorite people to talk to about Disney. He's at Disney right now, and he's taking time out of his day to come talk to us. So let's welcome Chris back to our show, Sam.
Yeah, welcome back, Chris.
Thank you. It's so good to be here, and I was always thrilled to get a text from you guys. So it's always awesome. I was so last night I was trying to go see the drone show over at Disney Springs, and I even got the like fancy dinner that you can do at Haleo.
Oh, nice.
And then it got rained out, so or lightninged out, so I didn't get to see it. So oh well, I'm going to try again another night. So.
That's a bummer. They do a late show though, right? Don't they do 2 shows every night? So if the weather
could go
tonight.
I'm old, and so by like 10:45, like that means I'm not getting to bed for a long time, and like I'm just too old for that. So
yeah. Well, tell us where you're live from, Chris. Like, where are you staying right now?
I am at I'm using my DVC points. I am at Disney's Boardwalk Villas in a very nice. I'm by myself in a 1-bedroom villa. So I am just spreading out, baby. I have tons of space. So.
I love it. I love it.
And I warned Sam before. I posted on Twitter or X or whatever. Why do I still use that platform? But whatever. I posted there that I have my various DCL shirts and I may have to stop my camera midway through the show and do a total share and change costume. So.
Costume change. We love it. We love it. Listen, we would expect nothing less than you, Chris, from you, Chris. Because Chris, if you don't know Chris and you haven't seen him on video before, he's been on our show before, both audio and live versions. But he has a collection of Disney shirts like no other. He's got really 2 collections. One is the short sleeve button down. I'm going to call them Hawaiian
kind of these
shirt.
ones.
Yeah. Right. And then he also has an entire collection of Spirit jerseys.
And now I'm expanding to Universal. So like now they're starting to make Universal Spirit jerseys. So I have an Epic Universe Spirit jersey now. Like, oh my God, my spouse will be so like, how do you spell divorce? Oh my God.
I love it, Chris. Oh my goodness.
Well, the fans are demanding some speculation, Sam, in the chat, and so we got a lot to cover. Yeah, so like we got our breaking news logo. I feel like we need some sort of sound. This is the closest I have. Law and Order. There you go. So pause that. So yes, breaking news today out of Disney Cruise Line. So we are going to talk about the ship. As we said, we're going to talk about the ship in Japan a little bit. We're going to talk about D23, but we can't not talk about this. So for context, late this afternoon, our time, early evening on the East Coast time, Instagram started blowing up because travel agents out there are getting Destiny reveal boxes. And so just like with the Wish, they sent out a little box that had a bunch of little stuff in it to try and get people excited about the Wish that was the Wish coming. For the Treasure, they sent out the Treasure map. For the Destiny, they have sent out a box of goodies. And it looks like there's 2 different versions, actually multiple different versions, but 2 different core versions of the box. One is a large weekend bag. The other is a fanny pack style bag. And what you were supposed to do is open these little cardboard doors that are on the bottom of the box, and it reveals patches that you can then sew on to customize your bag. Well, the patches are apparently hints at the character's IP that will be on the ship. And so let's dive right in here for 1 second. One of the first things you noticed in these videos is that there's a little place card in there that says Uncover Your Destiny, July 30th, 31st, and August 1st. So next week. And what the back of the card reads, for those not watching, if you're listening at home afterwards, I'll read this stuff to you. Also encourage you to head over to YouTube because you'll be able to see the patches in the video. We have a PowerPoint up. But the back of this card reads, your first step to being I got this wrong, but your something about your first step as you open the doors to reveal clues to the case of legendary characters and experiences waiting on board the Destiny. Somehow that got screwed up. I think it actually read something like your first step toward your destiny is opening the doors to reveal the clues. But then it goes on to say your journey continues with an in-depth look at Disney Cruise Line's newest ship revealed in a 3-day event. Tune in July 30 through August 1st on the Disney Parks blog to discover the different stories, characters, and itinerary information coming to the Disney Destiny. So yes, it is going to be a 3-day event across the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st, which I suspect the 1st will be the itinerary release date, which would align to some speculation we've heard from some listeners out there who've been talking to folks on board who said that itineraries would start booking on August 5th.
And it's
one big thing.
Right, by the way, Brian, it's
your first step begins. Your first step being, yes, your first step begins. The one major thing I want to point out, because we are going to be talking about some D23 speculation tonight, is that all of these dates are well before D23. So the Destiny is off the table as a D23 announcement because they are going to reveal her and drop her itineraries before D23 even starts. That is some huge news, like the news ramp here out of Disney Cruise Line leading into D23, and we'll talk about this a bit more when we talk about D23 speculation, is insane. So let's move on to
the patches. Okay, can I say this, Brian? So I have spotted throughout various Instagram reels. So there's a bunch of different folks who have these boxes. And like Brian said, there's a fanny pack version that has 5 patches accompanying with the fanny pack. And then there is a larger weekender bag, kind of more like a tote weekender bag, that's got 10 patches with those boxes. And I have spotted 13 different types of patches out there through these various Instagram reels. So the ones you're seeing right now on your screen, if you're watching us on YouTube, are Black Panther, the Mariner, who is from Haunted Mansion and Haunted Mansion Parlor, which has been announced on the Disney Treasure. Right next to the Mariner is Vanellope's car, her race car. Right next to that, on the top row, right-hand corner, is Hakuna Matata. And actually next to that, you can't really see it, but that's a Loki patch. And then below, there is Olaf lounging on a lounger, drinking what looks like a fun fruity drink.
We've got the summer.
Yeah, it's summer, exactly. We've got a Doctor Strange, the Eye of Agamotto, or whatever it's called.
You got it. The Eye of Agamotto.
And then on the bottom, we've got a Cruella de Vil patch. But I want to tell you the other ones that I spotted online, which are, one is a Disney Destiny. So it's just like the logo, the words Disney Destiny. There is a Hero Mini patch. There is a Captain Mickey patch. There is a Jack Jack patch holding an ice cream cone, a vanilla ice cream cone, it looks like. There is an Incredibles eye logo. There is we already said Loki patch. There is the Mariner one. Yeah, that's all of them. So the ones you can see.
Actually, no. Taryn is saying that she has spotted a Pain and patch.
Oh, Pain and Panic from Hercules. That would make sense because right now we know from that comic book cover and that little comic book video that we had a couple of months ago of the Destiny that Hercules and Hades are also going to be featured on the Disney Destiny. But I had not seen.
Taryn said she saw Stark Industries patch.
Ooh, that
Iron
also.
Man.
Love it. Yeah. Okay. So if anyone else out there, if you've seen other ones besides the ones I've named or we've just named that Taryn saw, please let us know because that's 15 new patches. So if there's Pain and Panic and Stark Industries, that's 15 patches we've seen with various IP across the Disney Destiny.
So I want to get Chris's thoughts on this. I do just want to say from a reveal standpoint, I love this in that not everyone got the same thing. And so it's like a massive scavenger hunt across the internet to see what people got to know what they might be up to. Chris, I have thoughts on what this is signaling on board the ship, but do you have any immediate reactions to some of these IPs and what it's going to mean?
Well, first off, I think it's just I'm actually happy that they're not doing it at D23 because guess what? They have a lot of park stuff that they need to cover, and I think only have 90 minutes in the parks and entertainment discussion. So I'm glad that we're taking this off, and it's not going to take up a half of that program, because guess what? We need to hear what's going on in the parks. We've always seen. In fact, Scott is Gustine on Twitter.
Oh, Scott Gustin.
Gustin.
Yeah.
Always I was listening to him on some program the other day, and he was saying they always release a whole bunch of stuff like the weeks before, and magically enough, here it comes. We get a whole bunch of stuff just before D23. So it's very exciting. I mean, I think we were talking before. I think this kind of replaces the map that they use for the Wish and the Treasure. So it seems like this is giving us, our little clue, and we get to play the internet game and figure out what all these pieces actually mean. But
yeah, I totally think so. Here's my broad thoughts on this, and we will find out for sure in about a little under a week now. I think all of the Marvel stuff is signaling PS Worlds of Marvel's coming back. No giant surprise there.
But maybe some different shows, right? Because we've got Black Panther, we've got Doctor Strange, we've got Loki, and now Stark Industries, right? So we could be seeing we could even see 2 new shows in Worlds of Marvel, and maybe they'll rotate something out on Wish in particular.
Yeah, and so I think Worlds of Marvel is a no-brainer. It's coming back. It's the animator's palette of the Wish-class ships. I think that this artwork that we're showing on the screen right in the middle, the Mariner, that is straight out of the announcements off the Parks blog for the drinkware for the tiki mugs in the Haunted Mansion bar. So kind of surprisingly, it sounds like they're not going to re-theme that bar across each ship. I am suspecting we will see another Haunted Mansion bar on the Destiny, which... a little disappointed, if I'm perfectly honest. I love that they were doing Star Wars, then Haunted Mansion. So okay, what's the next thing going to be? But maybe knowing that bar is going to be popular. And we also suspect that the Destiny is going to be sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, and so trying to get people down there with the most popular IP they can, in addition to Lookout Key being on the itineraries. So I suspect that's what that signals. I suspect all the Incredible stuff is signaling a return of the what's the space called, Sam? The
Incredicourse in the Hero Zone. Yeah, the
Hero Zone.
I'm gonna disagree with you there. As much as I would say yes, when I first saw the Incredibles logo, I thought yes, Incredicourse. But then when I saw Jack with an ice cream cone, I had a second thought and thinking, oh, maybe it will
parlor.
be the ice cream parlor, the sweet shop ice cream parlor.
What's going on with Vanellope's? What's going on with Vanellope's? Because Vanellope is here, and that's got to be candy related, right? So
but it could be.
They could do one of the Mickey's Runaway. They could do Mickey's the coaster, duck. Do a Vanellope one as you go up. It's
not for
Vanellope racing through.
But it could also just be, we've got Wheezy's Freezies on the Wish, which is that outdoor bar that has some fun candy drinks and things like that. We could have a themed frozen drink bar. Frankly, that could be actually for Jack. It's amazing. Jack nom noms. Yeah, cookie.
Yeah, into saying Jack's nom noms.
That would work. Yeah.
I want to pause 1 second and just bring up another comment from Into here who says, guess they don't have enough time for DCL during D23. I just want to say, seriously, buckle up. I don't think we're going to talk about this at the end of the show. I don't think it's that they're not going to make Disney Cruise Line announcements. What I think is going on is they're clearing out I think they have so much stuff to announce, but I also think what they're going to focus their 90-minute presentation on is the $60 billion investment that's coming. And so they can't release Destiny announcements and claim that that's attached to the $60 billion investment. I think Disney Cruise Line is going to have an announcement. I just think that this stuff is viewed as not important enough to put into that 90 minutes, given the stakes that they're going to have for the parks. And so we'll talk about it at the end of the show, but I have some ideas as to what's coming. But anyway, let's go back to
I love these other comments though. I love Linda's comment. First of all, Jack's Nom Noms from N2. I like that idea that could be the sweet shop with cookies and whatnot, just like we see right in front of the Incredicoaster at Disneyland. But I love Linda's comment, Vanellope obstacle course, right? So we could see instead of the Incredible course, you could see a race course, right? That would be a Vanellope. That would make sense with the car. And then we've got Olaf, and then Tracy's saying is a frozen slushy bar like Wheezy's Freezies, and then we've got Gabe saying one of the walk-up bars for Vanellope, which is what I was kind of thinking.
That's the other thing, is that some of this stuff, sometimes they drop this IP and then it turns out to be kind of it was a room theme. right? Or it was like we don't know, right? There even with the treasure map where there was stuff like
Fair.
right where you think a venue would be, it turned out to really not be venue related. So, like the thing is, we don't know. We're going to find out. I think it's always fun to kind of talk around this stuff. What I'm interested in is, does any of this hint at a new restaurant experience? We had Coco,
Yeah.
we had Frozen. Like, what's the new restaurant going to be on?
Wasn't there a Lion King thing?
Yeah, there's
There
Lion King
was,
Lion
and
King would be a
Hercules.
fun or
Yeah.
Hercules.
yeah,
When and I think there has to be a villains thing. One of the restaurants should be a villains thing because that
Yeah.
would be really fun to have, like a
Like
Hades in
Hades,
there. Yeah,
Cruella, right? You could have multiple. That is true. You could have like multiple villains, right? We've got Cruella here on the bottom right hand corner, and we know that Hades is going to be on here, and of course Pain and Panic. So we
they could
definitely
just
could
do a
have,
general,
and
you know,
Loki.
they
Yeah,
could do a general villains restaurant like that. I mean,
yeah,
they have this model right at Bay Lake Tower, the top of the world, the villain's lair
right.
concept. Like, it would
yeah.
actually been interesting if instead of a haunted mansion bar, you got a villain's lair kind of bar at
Bar.
sea.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
But they could have a villain's lair restaurant, and it's all, you know, songs and characters that are villains. I don't know how well that would go over with the
the
kids
little
crowd.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
would
you'd
have
have to have
to.
a hero element a vanquishing hero element in order for
Yeah,
it to
you
really
could
work,
have
I
just
think.
like you could do like a hero villain storyline kind of show where the heroes win, of course, because that's what you have to have in order to have little kids. And you can't use super
Yeah,
scary villains. You have to
CT
do.
saying it. CT saying it would just scare the kids too. I
Yeah.
agree. Like, I don't think that'll work. Linda's
But
saying
I don't think you
Wreck-It
do it
Ralph
as
Puddle
scary.
Sweep.
You do it as, I mean, in the end, they're kind of cartoonish villains. They're
Right,
not,
exactly. You'd have to use the cartoonish villains. You couldn't use
right.
the kind of more scary villains. By the way, can we pull up Wesley Davenport's comment? Because I kind of love this. He says, my new favorite way to listen to the live show is from a recliner at Costco while my wife browses the middle aisles. I just love that. I'm picturing you, Wesley, sitting in a recliner in Costco
One
right
of those
now.
massage chairs. I'm imagining one of
Ooh,
those massage chairs going
like
off.
I love that.
I
I
also love.
also love
I also
CT's
love Josh. Hold
prediction.
on. I like Josh
Oh,
McHenry's comment. Starting to get the ship names confused. It is a fun world to live in where we can't keep all the ships straight. So there you go.
fair.
There you
I
go.
love CT's prediction, or at least I would say hope rather than prediction, as he says it. Oh, not that one. Marvel shawarma stand is a wish, not a firm
Uh,
prediction. I
Oh,
love that. I
nice.
would love a Marvel. I mean, we do have shawarma already on two of the
No, they
ships,
have
right?
it.
On
Well,
the
they have the shawarma stands at Disneyland and Avengers Campus.
No, I know, but they we do have they have shawarma on we have it on the Magic and the Wonder already. And
So
so it's not
let
great shawarma, but it's okay.
yeah. I kind of want to wind down this discussion because we're gonna, spoiler alert, we will have as many shows as it takes next week to discuss all of the announcements that are coming out. So if they do the ship reveal next whatever that is on the 30th on Tuesday, expect to hear from the DCL duo on Tuesday. If they do the itinerary drop on August 1st, we will be coming out to talk to you about the itinerary. So I love
I'll be
covering this
hanging
stuff
with
as
my
it comes.
friend bottle of wine, by the way.
Yeah. we should
We'll be working with our friend Red Bull over here trying to keep up with everything. But
yeah.
I want to ask the question, Sam, to you really fast, and then we should move on to this
Yes.
Japan announcement. We talked a little bit about restaurants, bars, all that sort of stuff. We know the overall theming of the show. Does any of this hint at a
Yeah.
show for you, like a Lion King show?
Yeah, yeah. So there's two things, and one of them Linda has already called out. And I would say to me, there's two really perfect opportunities for a stage show. One of those is Lion King. Obviously, they've been doing it on Broadway for forever. It's fantastic. They could do a kind of a pared down version, so have an easy model for it. But the other is Hercules. Like Hercules is having a moment right now. There is a Broadway. I'm calling it Broadway. It's not Broadway, but there is a professional cast over in Germany doing Hercules right now. There has been a touring production a couple of times of Hercules, so they definitely could revive Hercules and make that a main stage show. Either of those to me is like
Avengers,
a perfect
Avengers.
fit. N-
What about
Not
Rogers the
as a
musical? Rogers the musical.
I would love that. I would love that in as a replacement for like Seize the Adventure because it's only like a 30-minute show. Absolutely loved Rogers the Musical, but I'm not predicting that. I wish I were. I really
Mm.
don't think it will be. But I think main stage show, I really do think we're looking at Lion King or Hercules. I would put money on both of those. I just don't know which one, to be perfectly honest.
That Rogers
All
show
right.
is coming back somewhere, though.
Yeah, I hope
It's
so,
just
Chris.
too awesome. It was too
It's so
awesome to,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
so good.
agree.
The music is so awesome.
I don't know why they
And
closed it at Disneyland. I don't know why they had it for such a short run. They honestly, it would have been so smart to keep that going and going and going and going and
it was
going. So,
awesome.
yeah. Oh, Tracy's calling out Villains Tonight reboot would be awesome as well. I think a lot of people
Yep.
a lot of people love that show, and I think a lot of people would be thrilled if Disney brought that back to the stage on DCL. So,
They seem to
we'll
be
Yeah.
see.
very afraid of villains, though, for some reason. I mean, I get it doesn't have to be. Well, I was just at Universal for a spell this afternoon, and it doesn't have to be Dark Universe scary. It can
Yes.
be G scary rather than PG or R or whatever scary. You can
Yep.
do it in a way that a Disney way. You don't have to be. It can be
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
Ale-
Taryn is
Alicia's
saying the Hercules musical is going to England in summer of 2025.
Oh my
So
gosh, let's
so
go
maybe
group trip.
yeah, oh my god. So maybe not then coming to Disney Cruise Line. I don't know, but it's such a great show. I love Hercules. Yeah, I think it would be amazing on stage.
Alicia's hoping for a villains bar. I think we talked about. I am hoping that they do change it up. It's a villains bar, and maybe the Haunted Mansion theming here is going where
Somewhere
the
else.
like the Tiana's or what that the not the Bayou. That's the wrong ship. But you know what I'm talking about. That lounge that they have on the Wish that's like newer or Bayou themed.
That is the Bayou.
Oh, that is the Bayou. Okay,
Yeah.
French Quarter Lounge is what I'm thinking of. See,
Oh,
it
you're
is
thinking
getting confusing. These ships are getting
You're-
confusing now. Maybe they'll do like something Haunted Mansion where the Bayou is today. I don't know, but it just seems like if they're explicitly calling out that tiki mug design, like feels like they might just say, "Well, we're doing Haunted Mansion bar times 2." So
Yeah, I mean
hopefully not.
that patch of the Mariner is the same design as the tiki mug. Like I literally pulled up a picture of the Disney Parks blog, and that's what it looks like as the tiki mug. That's not actually the one that's in the actual Haunted Mansion. That's like a portrait. That looks a little bit different, but that's the tiki mug. Okay,
None
now
of
you
those
want to
people
go to
are none of those people are the tiki mug. By the way.
not the tiki mug. These are
These
these
are not.
folks.
These are not. I was moving Sam along.
I know
In the
these
show.
folks.
And
these
very
folks
subtle.
are-
You were very
Yeah.
subtle. Thank you.
These folks are from the Oriental Land Company in Japan, Brian, are they not?
They are. So let's shift gears and talk a little bit about Disney Cruise Line's announcement last week. It feels like a month ago now with all the
Yeah.
Destiny news that came out today. But yes, the Oriental Land Company, which runs Tokyo Disney, has partnered with Disney Cruise Line to bring a 4th Wish class ship to Tokyo, Japan, to sail. And it's coming out in, I think it was fiscal year 28, which suggests like early 2029. So it's a ways off. Again, this will feed into my speculation about D23 here in a minute, but it is interesting that they pushed this announcement out in 2024. It felt like something they could have kept under wraps until they launched the adventure, but they have made the announcement.
Maybe
What
because
is
they
what
made
is
an order, right? They had
well
to make
that
an order with a ship company.
well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. You're jumping the gun, Sam. Let's talk about Tokyo. Focus on Tokyo for
No,
a
that's
second.
what I'm saying. Okay.
All right. So this is coming in 2029. What is unique about this is that it is really unclear how this is going to work because the Oriental Land Company is going to own and operate this ship in partnership with Disney Cruise Line. It almost sounds like from the announcements, it's that Disney Cruise Line has licensed its branding over to the Oriental Land Company to do this. I have lots of thoughts here, but I want to kick it to Chris for a second. Chris, you saw this announcement. What went through your mind?
Well, I think it speaks as to how well the relationship must be to own, because it sounds like a similar relationship with Tokyo Disney and Tokyo Disney Sea, which I haven't been, unfortunately, but from most of the people that I hear who have been, Tokyo Disney Sea, one of the best Disney parks out there. So it must speak well to how well that relationship is going, and apparently profitable for both sides. So hopefully it'll spell something really, really awesome. I've been wanting I've never been to the Asia part of the world, and I would really love to get there. And a Disney ship over there. Although, as a travel agent, I selfishly can't book Tokyo Disney, so I would love a book, one that I could actually book. But still, it gives me a way to get over there that gives me a Disney link. So
yeah. Chris, I think we need to plan a trip. I'm talking, I don't know, spring break 2029 or summer 2029, and plan on going because, I mean, we keep talking about how we want to get to Tokyo Disneyland, right? To Tokyo Disney Sea in particular, because we hear how great it is. Well, now DCL just gave us an additional reason to go
absolutely.
to Tokyo or to Japan in general. So I've never been to Asia either, and so this gives me a reason.
And I have
DCL
to-
Duo podcast trip, land and sea vacation,
2029.
Japan, 2029.
2029. That'll be our third inaugural trip. Anyway, I
have to say I'm so not excited about the adventure because I think that ship is so ugly. Sorry.
No, you can say that. You can say that. Listen,
it's just not an attractive ship, but I have a good friend who lives in Singapore, so I have to do it at some point.
You have to do it.
Hold on, Sam. Hold on. I want to ask a serious question of both of you because what really strikes me about this announcement is they have announced a second ship in Asia. Before they've launched their first ship in Asia.
Yeah.
They have no market experience in Asia yet. I mean, Tokyo Disney knows what they're doing with theme parks. I don't want to knock that, but it's not like they've operated a cruise ship over there before. It strikes me as a little odd to make this announcement this far in advance of the adventure before she's even set sail and they have some idea of what the market is like for them over there. But more importantly, it's also a little odd to me. They've got this new, you've got the adventure launching. This ship has got to be direct competition to the adventure being operated by Tokyo Disney. So it feels like they're cannibalizing the market before they've even set foot in it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I will say that this is a U.S. bias. The flight from Singapore to Tokyo is 6 hours. Yeah, it's not. Okay. I mean, that's like saying the West Coast is cannibalizing. It's not. It's a different market. It's not the same. We think of it all as okay. They all just go around, but they're not. It's not the same market. It's not the same space.
Yeah. No, and
like
to me,
Disneyland doesn't cannibalize from Disney World. It's they're different markets. So.
And Singapore has a very large English speaking population. I mean, that's a main business hub. And I agree with you, Chris. I think these two could be two different markets. And I'm sure that Disney has done its research to figure out if there's demand there. Well, but it is interesting to see.
Yeah, CT's saying a second Asian ship because Tokyo found out that the ship's not going there. And then this is a perfectly valid point. There are billions of people in Asia. It's a different market. I agree. It's a different market.
The big question
two
to me,
very different ships.
The big question to me is there going to be a casino on board?
Yeah.
I think the adventure will have I don't know about the new one. But I think there will be a casino on the adventure.
I think the opposite. I think there is no casino plan for the adventure. I think that giving this over to the Oriental Land Company gives them the ability to say, well, we're putting a casino on our ship, right? To customize it differently than how they're customizing the adventure. That's my prediction. We'll find out.
As I say, I have a friend, a very good friend of mine who lives in Singapore, and the first thing I sent him the announcement when they said they were going to Singapore, and he says, "Does Disney have casinos on board?" And I said, "Not usually." And he goes, "If they don't have a casino on board, it won't be successful here."
Wow, interesting.
So I think it has a casino, or they're in trouble.
Interesting. Well, I want to answer one question we had, which is somebody was asking whether or not it's Triton class, the ship in Japan. I want to just correct the question first.
The answer is no. It is not Triton class.
Right. The answer is it's Wish class. So I know Triton was the project name for the ships. And so when the Wish came out, the class became the Wish class, just like with the Dream and with the Magic. The class is named after the first ship in the class. Yes, it was all Project Triton. So yes, it will be a sister ship. This Japan ship will technically be a sister ship of the Wish.
And yes,
remember that they're both attorneys, so they're going to watch your every word.
That's right.
Well, and I want to say this. Yes, I agree. It would be cooler if it was called the Triton glass, but it's we have actually verified this across multiple sources.
Within
So
Disney. Yeah.
within Disney.
And
So
by the way, the Disney Triton would be a lot cooler than the Disney Destiny.
Yeah, it's a
Disney
cool. That would
Destiny-
be Disney Triton would be a cool name, actually. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think
Okay,
it's,
but let me say
go
one
ahead.
thing here. I think the reason that they announced the Disney ship with Oriental Land Company is because they've got a ship on order, and because they know
is
that
true.
once they have an order, these things are going to
It
leak.
becomes
So that's
it gets out
becomes
there
harder.
in some form or fashion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
and
why I think the announcement's so far in advance.
and it may have leaked because we know, I can't remember if we've talked about this on the show before. We know because some folks have sent us some articles that Mayor Wharf Papenburg, where they're building all of these ships, except for the Adventure. The Adventure is at a Mayor Wharf shipyard, but a different Mayor Wharf shipyard. Mayor Wharf Papenburg is actually in some significant financial distress, not because they don't have a very strong book of orders for cruise ships, but because of the rising costs of labor and materials. And so they're looking for, like, I think it was a $2.7 billion investment from the region where they operate to sort of keep operating. Look, I want to say it seems like they fully expect to get that investment, or that, a bailout of some sort to continue operating. But this was probably an opportune time for Disney to put in an order, because Papenburg needs as many orders as it can get to keep the the books on the right side of things. So which
Just
leads
saying,
to,
I need a $2.5 billion investment as well, by the way. If anyone wants to write me a check, I'm happy to take it.
Well, and you might get you might get a ship at a better cost when they're in a not in a strong financial position. So which brings us to the next announcement, Brian, or lack of announcement, but picture.
All right. So
what do we see in the picture?
I'm going to set this up. So this is the graphic that they put out for Disney Horizons, which is what they're calling the 90-minute presentation they're going to give at D23 this year. I've now read online they will be streaming this presentation, so we can all watch it together, which is great. I think maybe this might be
perfect for you guys on the West Coast. For those of us on the East Coast, we're going to be popping those Red Bulls.
Well, this may be the opportune time.
I don't. Evening is this going to be?
I'll have to look that up.
It starts at like 8 o'clock or something. It's late.
Okay.
8 o'clock your time, and so it's like 11 o'clock my time.
So this could be an opportune time, Sam, for us to revive the Mystery Science 3000 episode that everyone has been wanting us to redo since the one we did 3 years ago. So we may have a little Mystery Science Theater 3000 DCL Duo watch party for the Horizons announcements.
What's the date? Do we even know? Are we even free then, Brian?
Yeah, it's August. What is it? It's on August
10th.
10th. Yeah, 11th. Saturday, August 10th at 8 p.m.
Oh yes, it's 7 p.m. and our calendar is actually already blocked off, everyone. So
yes, there you go. All right, so I want to set this up. So this is the graphic.
I'll be on the Wonder up in Alaska, by the way. So.
Awesome.
So this is the graphic. Notably, it contains 6 castles, denoting the 6 theme parks for Disney. It has a little reference to California Adventure, reinforcing. Let me step back. We think that this announcement, Horizons, is going to heavily focus on what Disney plans to invest that $60 billion they committed to spending over the next 10 years into. So we know, for example, that Disneyland Forward has now been approved to the city of Anaheim. We're expecting some timelines and details for what that means for the Disneyland parks. And so it's telling that California Adventure's Ferris wheel and castle are on here. It's also telling that there's all of the other castles represented, because we expect some of this money to get invested across these theme parks. Now, what's also represented on here are 2 ships sailing. Not one ship for just Disney Cruise Line, 2 ships sailing. And they've already announced the Japan ship. They've already announced the theming, and they're going to reveal the Destiny in advance. We don't know a lot about the Adventure, but I'm going to tell you, I don't think they're going to make an announcement at D23 about the Adventure.
They don't look like the Adventure. These ships don't look like the Adventure.
Saying that, I don't think that's what they're. I don't think the details at that level, Sam. But I don't think they're going to announce the Adventure at D23 for a very particular reason. They don't care if North Americans ever set foot on the Disney Adventure. What they want is the Asian market for the Disney Adventure. And they've been rolling out information steadily in the Asian market that we've been picking up on here in the US. But I suspect you will see a dedicated announcement about the adventure in Singapore, and a special event in Singapore, much like they did an announcement for the Japan ship in Tokyo, right?
My
And
friend
so,
tells me it's all over the subways.
yep,
Yeah.
It's hard to
yep.
escape it.
I
So
love it.
here's what I think is going to happen, and then I will open it up to the esteemed panel to tell me I'm wrong or to give their own opinions. But as I said earlier, I think one, this is a high stakes 90 minutes. And I think to Krista's point, it's going to focus very heavily on the parks. There's no doubt about that. That said, we know some of the $60 billion is getting invested into Disney Cruise Line. That's been specifically said. I think this whole presentation is going to be talking about that $60 billion. I think what qualifies to get into this level of presentation is not like a new paint job on a ride. It's a new ride. It's dates for
Or a new
opening a new
land.
ride or a
Yeah.
new land or whatever
New
it is.
rides.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I think that there will be cruise line announcements. I think they put in an order for not just one ship. I think they put in an order for 3 ships with Mayor Worf Papenburg. And the reason that they announced the Tokyo one is because it's going to come out sooner or later that order was made. I think that they announced it for 2029 because they're going to have 2 new ships coming online in 2027 and 2028. And I suspect, to the comment that someone raised earlier in these threads, those are the replacements for the Magic and the Wonder who are reaching end of life. I'm sure that they will have an amazing farewell tour, and we will definitely be on at least the Wonder for a farewell sailing. But it's time, and I think now is the time. Disney saves a lot of money when they bundle orders with the shipyard. That's why they did the Wish class initially in 3. So that's my prediction. You're going to see at least an announcement of 2 more ships coming. Now, whether it's 2 Wish class ships or something else, I don't know. But I think 2 more ships coming. That's it. That's it from Brian. And now you guys can talk all you want, and I'm going to sit here and take notes.
All right, Chris. I'm going to throw it to Chris because Brian and I've talked about this a little bit already.
Well, we haven't heard it. You go first.
Well, I agree with Brian. I think we're going to see 2 new ships have been ordered. I think that's why they announced. I mean, I didn't say this in the earlier, spot where we were talking about the Oriental Land Company, but I think they're going to announce these because they're going to leak otherwise. They have ordered, in my opinion, 3 new ships, right? They might all be Wish class ships, or these 2 might be different. But I think they've ordered 3 new ships, and that's what we're going to hear at the D23 panel. Now, they're not. I agree with Brian. They're not going to talk much about the OLC ship because that's really OLC's to advertise, and they're not going to talk that much about. They might reveal something about the adventure at D23, but I don't think that's going to be the focus. I think if they were going to talk about the adventure, we would see just 1 ship graphic. And I will be honest and tell you, these ships to me don't look like the adventure. These ships look more like Magic, Wonder, Dream, Fantasy, or even Wish class ships. Like just the shape. I know they might not get into the minutia of the detail, but the adventure just looks so different from the others and has multiple funnels, right? And is ugly. And I agree with you, Chris.
Let's zoom in and see if we can find a tower suite in there. Can we
see? I mean, I agree.
All of them will have tower suites by the end of it.
Right. We're not seeing a high level of detail, but I still think with the detail that we do see, that doesn't look like an adventure ship. We're not going to have a sister ship of the adventure anyway. That's a one-off. I truly believe that. But yeah, I think we're going to see 2 new ships. I'm hoping. I'm going to say my prediction is we're going to see 2 new ships that are not going to be Wish class, that are going to be smaller than Wish class. I'm not sure they're going to be, Magic class, Magic Wonder class, but I think we're going to see smaller than Wish class.
Yeah, so Josh was asking more Wish class. I mean, it would make the most sense if they had ordered 3 of the same kind of ship, but who knows? Who knows? And I do think Disney needs to be responsive to the fact that people like the smaller ships. I mean,
Agreed.
Which is borne out also in. There's got a comment here. I hope not Wish class, but I'm prepared for disappointment. Love the smaller boat. I mean, we love the smaller boats too. And then I think it's Magically Vanessa here who's saying, I think the replacements for Magic Wonder will be just a smidge smaller than the Dream class.
Yeah.
So we have seen some. We have seen some royal.
I think is Nathan from Adventures in Mousecapades. Yeah.
Yes, we have seen we have seen. It makes sense. And two, Nathan, we know his last name begins with we also know that like Royal has gone back. They went back and built a couple of Oasis class ships instead of continuing to build Icon class. I mean, they're building more Icon class, but they've made another order for more Oasis class. So, yeah, it could be smaller. Chris, we got to hear from you though. We got to tell us what you think. Pour water on all of this and just calm us down.
It wouldn't surprise me. As a big lover of Disney Cruise Line, I'm thrilled to see them making investments. I'm glad that people like it because I love it. It's my happy place is being on one of those ships. My brain immediately goes to, okay, where do they go? And I keep hearing, and I have a lot of clients, frankly, who would love more West Coast cruises. And I think those should and would be more helpful to be, there you go. Linda, you're exactly right. There need to be more West Coast cruising, and people love it, and like have a real hub in San Diego, and then connect San Diego with Disneyland, and make that kind of connection that you have at Port Canaveral. It's not that much farther between Port Canaveral and Disney World as it is from Disneyland to San Diego. So,
it's about an hour both.
So make that connection where people can do like a week. They've been wanting to do that at Disneyland. Do that where you can do 3 days at Disneyland and a 3-day cruise and have a 6-day trip or something like that. It'd be lovely. So it would be awesome. I've never sailed out of San Diego, and I want to so badly. So
our friend Craig is saying Royal announced they are building a smaller class next, so the demand is hopefully there. I agree. I think diversifying the fleet is going to be important. I think it's also going to become increasingly important from a business standpoint because ports are blocking these larger and larger cruise ships, and so if you want to get to some of these destinations, you can't be the largest player on the open seas. You got to have some.
I mean, even the Wish class are not the larger players, right? The Wish class are small compared to those Oasis ships.
But you still want ships that you can take through the canal, and you want ships that you can take up to Alaska and to some of these other smaller ports. So there definitely is a need for some small
let's
ships.
not race by the fact that we are all basically kind of assuming that the Wonder and the Magic are going to be retired soon. And I think for all of us, those were our first Disney ships. They were, and I mean, even when we were on the podcast cruise, the Magic is almost 30 years old, and it is
still looks pretty good. Yeah,
it is.
She's beautiful.
I mean, I see it next to some of the other cruise lines that I won't mention, and it is in phenomenal shape. And it's a lovely experience, and I will be very sad to see both of those ships go away. Which I think we're all kind of assuming is going to happen at least in the next couple years, right? But they're lovely. They've served their purpose. Wow.
If they retire them in 2028, they'll be 30 years old, and that's, I mean,
it's long.
I don't know. It's and you start to hit these problems of they got to be dry docked more often
every couple of years.
They're not as fuel efficient any longer. They're all that sort of stuff like it. Yeah, I mean, I could see them actually parking a Magic or a Wonder on the West Coast and just having it do kind of like West Coast sailings,
like the Queen Mary.
Home. Yeah,
just to have it. You can go and have dinner on the like the Queen Mary in Long Beach or something.
Yeah,
I love it. That all sounds great to me. One thing Gabe commented on, I thought the thing with the Japan ship is that OLC ordered it and not Disney, but I could be wrong. So it's a partnership, and OLC is going to own and operate it, but it is a partnership with Disney and Disney Cruise Line. And so you'll see Disney Cruise Line will train everybody on ship operations and sort of everything on board. So they won't have full control over it, but there will be a partnership because obviously it's a licensing agreement, but they're going to want to make sure that the ship is run. It doesn't necessarily have to be identical to how Disney Cruise Line runs the other ships, but it's going to be, I would guess, very similar. And we don't know if we don't know about Castaway Club status and things like that, if there will be crossover and if for booking,
what I've
frankly,
heard from Tokyo Disney parks, they're run at meticulous levels. I mean,
Yeah.
meticulous levels. I mean, really, really top notch. So
Yeah. And I imagine this will be the same. And they have taken, some of the best stuff from Walt Disney World and Disneyland and brought it over there. And so I'm sure that that will be the same as far as how, getting great cast, getting great, protocols in place and operations in place. And probably the ship crew will be, similarly, mostly European crew. That's what, most of the, we get a lot of Greeks and Italians who are, basically work as the ship crew. I mean, not the necessarily the dining crew and all of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that all translates, but it'll probably be a very bilingual crew in that at least the dining staff and all of those folks and the guest services will have to speak Japanese and probably English.
Yeah. Some good comments here. CT saying there should be land and sea options for all the parks. Amen. Amen. I think that was kind of the original vision with Disney Cruise Line, is you'd have a cruise ship tied to each park almost. So maybe we'll finally get there. Larry saying diesel's going to be banned outright for some popular places, and I don't even think they can shore power in New York City, which is So I mean, we can't gloss over, these ships are old. They're getting old. They're well beyond the age that many cruise lines would have already sold them down market. And frankly, I just think Disney can't sell them down market because they're too outfitted.
Disney cruise ship not look like a Disney cruise ship, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I love this because Chris is saying, I'm just waiting for the World of Disney Cruise that visits all of the parks worldwide. I think honestly,
sold.
Yeah, I mean, I would be on it in a heartbeat, but I think honestly, what an amazing send-off they could give to the Wonder or the Magic if they had them do a final world cruise kind of around the world. And then unfortunately they would drive it into a beach someplace in India. But but I think what an amazing final
Or they
cruise.
could each do a half of world cruise, right? Magic could do one half the world and Wonder could do the other half the world, or something.
And meet up on the naval training ground yards for torpedo practice. But yes, there you go. And then CT is also saying reimagine Magic class ships are going to be easy because they can just kind of port over the theming. This is one place where I do hope that they do just take an easy route if they're going to do this and port some of the theming over, because the Tiana's restaurant is fantastic. I love it.
And
I love
Tangled.
awesome.
Rapunzel's Royal Table.
I'd love to see them reimagine maybe the Cadillac Lounge. Like, what would that look like today? Just please, P.S. Disney, not the Tesla Lounge if we can avoid it. But
what's the truck? The Cybertruck. They can put a Cybertruck.
No Cybertruck Lounge.
No Cybertruck.
No Cybertruck Lounge.
We see one of those in our neighborhood all the time, and I groan every time I see it. It's the ugliest thing. It really is. Sorry, if any of you listening out there, if you have a Cybertruck, that's a hot take. If you come onto Rapid Fire and you tell me you have a Cybertruck, you're gonna fail Rapid Fire.
You're voted off the island.
Yeah.
CT says it should be the Escalade Lounge.
Escalade
I love it.
Lounge. I like it. Every table will have spinners on the bottom. I love that. And I like Larry Fine's comment: Magic class, but LNG or nuclear with azipods and real big stabilizers. Yeah, we want to put the new technology on the old style of ship. I love that.
I don't need Goofy near a nuclear power plant. That's all I'm asking.
It's like him with his skiing and stuff.
The flux capacitor or something from Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Yeah, we just have to get to 88 miles an hour.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's the speculation we have for D23. I don't think there's going to be like some ton of announcements. I think if they announce anything, it will be one of three things: either nothing at all, because it's going to be all parks focused. I want to be realistic. That could be what they do. They could just have a quick announcement of a Stern and Atrium character for the adventure. But again, it just seems unlikely to me and kind of unworthy of the 90 minutes and how they need to spend the time. So I think one quick hit to Disney Cruise Line to say, we've put 2 ships on order. They're coming out in 2028 or 2027, 2028, more details to come. That is a huge piece of news, and it takes them a minute or less to get it out the door.
Correct.
And so I just, it
The
just
question
feels like
I
that's
have
not
for
your speed.
D23 is if they ever mention the term blue sky.
The
No.
drinking game. It's the drinking game.
We'll have to.
If Josh mentions blue sky, he's voted off the island.
Yeah, Chris, you'll be in Alaska at the time, so we're gonna text you while we're watching and let you know if he says blue sky. Because if he says blue sky, you're gonna
I'm
have
jumping
to take
off
a
the
shot.
ship.
You're gonna
I'm
have
out.
you're gonna have to run to, I don't know. You're gonna be on the Wonder, right? So you're gonna have to
Yes.
run to French Quarter Lounge and get yourself a shot if he mentions it.
I will definitely post a photo with one of my
There you
Disney
go.
shirts on.
I would expect nothing less.
I wanted to wrap things up tonight with just a quick report on Lookout Key.
Good call.
We've had 2 trip reports roll in this week from 2 different listeners. I want to first report a positive. The flies are gone. So like everyone we're hearing from is like, I didn't have any flies on my table. So the fly problem under control. What is not,
and I will say, I had a client last week who was on there and said no fly problem. So
nice. What is not quite under control and is getting a little frustrating on my side of things, from my point of view, a couple of reports this week about some things on the disability front that are just not great.
Not okay
for Disney. So first of all, we had a listener who visited recently whose son is mobility challenged and learned that they in fact have 0 sand wheelchairs on the island currently and don't expect to have them until October.
Which is ridiculous. I mean, they have so many of them at Castaway Key. All they would need to do is grab like half the ones they have at Castaway and bring them to Lookout Key. They're not that far away from one another. It would be an easy transport by boat. And honestly, like, they always have way too many at Castaway. There is no reason why they can't get some on Lookout. That's just ridiculous.
Disney, please do better on this. Like we have played up how gorgeous, and I know Chris agrees with me. The beaches are gorgeous, and so to have someone with a mobility disability not be able to experience those beaches, I think cuts the legs out of the experience of Lookout Key. Like the cultural stuff is nice, and I will say that the guest who made this report made lemons out of lemonade for the day and had some great experiences on Lookout with.
And she mentioned in the comments that they have a great adult changing station near guest services. So we really appreciate you sharing.
I would say no lemonade making should need to be had for the disability community on Lookout Key. You've already covered this at Castaway. Yeah, the first thing that should have been ordered were these chairs, but if they weren't, then to Sam's point, take half of them, throw them on a ship, and get them over there. So that's number 1. Number 2 is we got a trip report in our Facebook group today from a listener who visited Lookout Key this past week. And the golf cart situation is ever evolving. And so we asked multiple times on the ship when we went whether they were prioritizing concierge guests for the golf cart, and were repeatedly told no. And I want to be clear, I'm 100% fine with that answer, because they should prioritize people with disabilities getting to the tram stop over me getting to my cabana. I just do not care that much. I will walk the pier. For those who need the help, they should get the help. We learned this time around that they have sort of flip-flopped on that and are now prioritizing guests to get golf carts to cabanas, because what we heard was the line was they've paid for the service. No, they haven't. You don't offer that service on Castaway unless there's a need. Like, we don't get driven to our cabanas at the Family Beach or Serenity Bay on Castaway. And we've asked about it just out of curiosity. I'm fine walking, by the way. But like, just in this moment with that pier, prioritize getting the disability community onto your island to enjoy their day, and like, let the able-bodied who just don't want to break a sweat, like, I'm sorry, I'm one of them,
or make them wait. That's okay, right? You can, if you don't want to walk, and if you're able-bodied and you don't want to walk, then you should have to wait. Like, I have no problem with that. So, but we've got another comment from Vanessa. She's the one who reported to us about the sand wheelchairs, and she actually has said the explanation is that the sand wheelchairs they ordered were discontinued, but they're looking at an even better option. And I think that's great.
Good to hear.
But the answer is they should have taken some from Castaway in the meantime, so that both places, because like I said, I always see more than enough at Castaway. There's a ton, which I think is an awesome thing that they have them, but they have way more than they need at Castaway. So I think there's no reason why they shouldn't bring some over to look out.
And to be fair, the guest who reported the golf cart issue mentioned that far too much ink is spilled over this pier and these golf carts. We had an amazing time on the island.
Yes.
That's great.
His 82-year-old mother was hanging out in the water with her cane and loved it. She had an amazing time.
I agree with it. Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
It's funny. I was talking with people today about Lookout, and I was saying I don't know what the sand is made of, but like it is, you don't have to walk. It's not hot. It's not, you're not doing that ouch, 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 ouch to get to the water. It is delightful. It is so special. That beach is lovely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be there any day of the week.
Yeah, those wooden boardwalks, though, those get ouch, hot. So wear your flip flops to walk across until you get to the sand, and then take off your flip flops at the sand. Yeah. Anyway.
So we just wanted to bring that information. Anyone who comes on the show is going to Lookout. We're going to ask these kinds of questions because we want to hear the good, the bad, and the otherwise that's going on at Lookout. And we also just think it's important for people to know what to expect when they get there. And so just want to let people know what to expect. The golf cart situation seems to be shifting day to day from our understanding. I really do hope Disney will prioritize getting people who need a cart. I don't want to limit to the disability community, right? Folks who are older, who just don't walk as well or don't want to walk down the pier, they should get priority. Me, a 46-year-old able-bodied man, I should walk or I should wait. Like, I don't care if I have a cabana or not. Like, that's the right thing. And I will say this, the listener did report that there were several folks who were waiting for golf carts and concierge. And what they were doing was taking unused seats in those carts and putting, people in them. Several of the guests and concierge vacated their seats to say, I don't need this. You need it more than I do. Take my seat. Thank you for doing that. That is absolutely the right thing to do in those situations. So thank you for doing that.
Making the world a better place. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, Chris, we always love talking to you. So let folks know where they can find you, follow you, connect with you.
Before I do that, I want to say I got to go on your podcast cruise, and I know it's a month or 6 weeks, something like that out.
About a month, yeah.
You guys did such an amazing job and brought together the most lovely group of human beings, and all of whom were looking out for other people. And I now have Sarah, who was at our dinner table with us, and her lovely daughter, and her equally lovely father. We all got, and we are now like long friends. We will be friends forever. We had such a good time. You guys did such an amazing job. It speaks so much for the real community that you have brought together. And I know you've had some nasty people who post on whatever X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it nowadays. We all love this stuff, and you guys brought so many of them together, and it was so much fun to be there. And I was ecstatic to be part of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for
love
joining
that you
us,
are
Chris.
part of it. Yeah.
And we were so flattered that you joined us for the podcast cruise, Chris, because we adore you so much, and of course your family as well. And so we're just so thrilled that you were able to come, and we're thrilled for all the folks who did join us on the podcast cruise. Thank you for spending your vacation time with us. Your time is precious to you, and we know our vacation time is precious to us, and so we really love that anyone chose to come with us.
I said it on the cruise several
times. Awesome
times.
job. It was so much fun. I mean, really kudos to you. And I know it's so much work and so much stress that goes into it. And so really, really proud of it. Really thrilled.
I said on the cruise several times, humbling is the only word I have to describe when 50 people show up to take a vacation with you. That is just humbling. I do want to put on people's radars. We've hinted at this. We're still working through. It's going to be a while before we have any details. But just put a big circle around your summer for 2026, because we are going to do another podcast adventure. I'm going to call it that, because we are looking at probably going to Europe and maybe doing a river cruise with Adventures by Disney to introduce people to
wow.
that product. So we know that may not be doable for everyone. We understand that, and we will kind of probably flip flop through these over the years, depending on how long our podcast continues. Flip flop through these over the years,
forever and ever and
You're not
ever.
going anywhere. What do you mean?
Exactly.
But we're probably going to flip flop and do something more accessible, kind of every other year, and then something that we really want to do, something fun, something unique in the off years. So mark your calendars now. DCL Duo, we're going to do something. We think it's going to be an ABD, but they just don't have the itineraries out yet. But we're working that angle right now.
Right. But Chris, you need to tell folks where they can find you, connect with you, and if they want to book their next vacation with you.
So I am a travel agent. I know you guys, and My Path and Winding does an amazing job. I booked with My Path and Winding for the podcast tour, and I was very impressed with the job they did. If you want to book with me, I am. You can see below. It's Jensen Travel. I'm a travel agent with Dreams Unlimited Travel. You can find me at Jensen Travel, which is Disney spelled backwards. It's the sorcerer and sorcerer's apprentice is Jensen. So Jensen Travel is my little space on the world, and I'd love to help you plan a magical trip. So
I keep meaning to send you. I've gotten, as everyone, all of our listeners know, I've gotten really into Lorcana, and there's a Jensen card in Lorcana, and I keep meaning to put one in a little sleeve and send it to you so you can have it.
If you have an extra, send it to me. I will have it framed.
I will send you one. I will definitely send you one. Yeah. Well, with that, Chris, thank you. Thank you for stepping in last minute, taking some time out of your own vacation to spend some time with us and our audience.
I rearranged furniture here too, so I could get before my face was so dark. So I had to bring lamps in here and stuff. It's like I totally rearranged the furniture in the villa
at Boulder Ridge. All right.
And thank you to all of you out there who watched, who hung in with us. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to this afterwards, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button over on YouTube. Please don't forget to leave us 5-star review if you enjoy these conversations. They really keep us going. We say it all the time. We don't make money on this show, and so the thing that keeps us going.
We do it for the sweet 5-star reviews.
We do. So, all right. With that, everyone, thank you out there for listening, for watching. Thanks to Chris for joining us, and we will see you.
We'll see you at a half hour earlier next time, though. Next week, we're going to be at a special time. Instead of at 5:30, 8:30, we're going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and that's to accommodate our guests who can't be up really late because they've got like a job that makes them get up really early in the morning. So anyway, we'll be on at 8 p.m. next week instead of our normal 8:30 if you're on the East Coast, 5 o'clock West Coast instead of 5:30. We're going to be talking to Leia Shelton, who is daughter of Karen Shelton, owner of My Path and Winding Travel. And we're actually going to be talking to you about the new ship on Royal Caribbean, the Utopia of the Seas. Wow. And so we'll be doing a little bit of compare contrast, of course, with Disney, but we're going to be talking about the new Utopia ship because she is a new Oasis class ship in Royal Caribbean's repertoire. I don't know what's
fleet.
Thank you. Fleet of ships. How can I not think of words right now? So so join us next week a half hour earlier, which means for those of you on the East Coast, we'll get you to bed a half hour earlier than we usually do. Okay. All right. Join us next week. See ya.